And the saga about Warner Brothers Discovery and the purchase of Warner Brothers continues by the aspiring owners of the brand, the studios, and Warner's properties. With Paramount and Skydance as the main and oldest competitors, and Comcast trying to make a comeback after losing Fox to Disney, and Netflix, a new competitor that shows up with its monstrous, victorious streaming service. And now they've put everything on the table, all in. For Netflix wants to buy Warner no matter what. And they offered money. There are speculations that Netflix has offered $60 billion in cash. That means Netflix goes to the bank. They're going to fill 139 trucks with $100 bills and deliver them to the door of Warner Brothers Discovery. No, these are bank fund transfers. That money doesn't exist. There's not $1 billion in cash. But it's not a transition that's going to happen gradually. Or are they going to use other valuable assets? No. Netflix is going to send a Pix saying something like, in plain terms, Netflix said they'll send a Pix tomorrow of $60 billion to Warner Brothers Discovery if they agree. So did that shake you up? David Ellison and Larry Ellison must have been shaken to their core because they're also preparing a cash offer. Do you accept cash, ma'am? Just watching and wondering what to do next? And the chances of Netflix winning have increased a lot, okay? A lot of people are worried about this because Netflix isn't a movie studio and cinema isn't its main focus. It's their business model. Netflix's service is streaming. Netflix's business is streaming. I don't think Netflix is going to go 100% into it. In the world of cinema, film distribution, Netflix itself has already said before that cinema is a form of cadence that will eventually lead to streaming. And it doesn't really make sense for Netflix to get involved in part of its business just to pay for theaters. Although Mr. Ted Sarandos has previously said that in the promises he makes when acquiring, he will keep Warner's cinema intact. That's also hard to believe. There have already been people saying that this is a sucker's bait, that this is to fool suckers, that it's not going to happen, that's not really how it is. James Cameron, who said this whole thing about Netflix buying Warner is just to fool suckers. He says he'll stick with theaters, but also release everything on streaming. Mr. James Cameron also said it would be a disaster if Netflix bought it. But what are the real chances for Netflix? I'm going to tell you now. According to this publication from Bloomberg, Netflix, through Chief Executive Officer Ted Sarandos, he has a very good relationship with David Zazer. They are friends, and this could make the transition easier. Another detail that I think is more important, besides the money, besides the personal relationships between those involved, it's that this kind of purchase, this kind of acquisition of a major studio by another goes through a screening process by the Federal Trade Commission, which is the government branch of the United States government, to prevent trusts, to prevent monopoly in the market. In other words, a studio can't take up too much space, it can't own too many things. At the same time, there has to be balance and competition in the market. So there are antitrust laws that stop large conglomerates from forming, from having a monopoly on any kind of business. Also in entertainment. That was actually an issue with Disney's purchase of Fox. It had to go through this commission to get authorization for the purchase, and Disney got the authorization. They pulled some strings there. That's where the lobbyist gets involved and all the behind the scenes stuff happens. Can you imagine what that's like? And what is that? In fact, Skydance is doing a great job with that because there's Trump, the President of the United States, as a guarantor. In that case, then, Trump would be able to influence this committee to give a favorable opinion on the purchase of Skydance. However, Netflix is not a movie studio. Netflix controls streaming. Netflix doesn't have a big presence in the traditional film market. So it's good for Netflix if it's approved. It's easier for Netflix to get approved. Within this logic, Skydance has Paramount. Paramount is a big studio. Comcast is Universal. Universal is a big studio. Netflix doesn't have anyone. Netflix has its own productions. But they're aimed at the domestic market, not the movie theater market. If Warner Discovery agrees, they can team up with Netflix. Go ahead. The committee's approval, the committee will look at it and say, there are no monopoly issues here. The sale is approved and it's done. You won't need to keep lobbying, making deals, or setting up schemes to be able to convince everyone that this isn't about a new monopoly being formed. Disney went through that. It's not impossible. We know that, right? Who? Those who have connections never go under, my friend. So Netflix has this advantage. So Netflix comes in strong in the competition. They have money. They're going to pay up front. They have this favorable situation for the committee to approve the purchase and sale and the formation of a Netflix Warner. And there's this guarantee, Soy Joe, of continuing to leave Warner in Zaslav's hands with all its movies intact, continuing to produce for theaters. And it becomes a branch of Netflix. What about Home Box Office, Max? I'm not sure now. Home Box Office might become a premium line of Netflix. And Max merging with Netflix, that's not going to work. It doesn't make sense for Netflix to run two streaming services at once. I think it will then absorb Home Box Office, Max. The Home Box Office name is still very valuable. It still has a lot of value. I don't think they're going to be willing to bury Home Box Office, and they're going to keep the movie studio up to a certain point. But it's very possible that it gets to a point where they say, let's keep reducing it, and no. Warner movies, Warner properties now are exclusive for domestic distribution and for streaming. There are no more Warner movies. It's a tough blow for the group, right? For a century-old studio that's part of the history of entertainment in North American culture. But it's part of this reconfiguration that the film market, especially in North America, is going through problems. Competition from the Asian market is overwhelming with their Koreans, Chinese and Japanese dramas, anime and other things. And what are people in the United States going to do? They'll have to work hard to maintain this leadership in global entertainment, something that has been wearing down over the past few years. That's what I wanted to discuss. Do you think Netflix has a chance? Comment below. See you soon. Bye. That was another Quattro Coisas episode. The channel posts at least 3 videos daily, Monday through Sunday. If you enjoyed it, here are more tips to watch. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell for new notifications. Thank you very much. See you next time.